Final Exam by Ashton Buchhorn, English 1301, Section 21. I am most aware of my language when I am with my family because I have boundaries of what I can and cannot say around them. I do not want to use explicit language around my parents out of respect. When I am around my brother, we have less boundaries of language that we can use. Another setting is college. When it comes to college, the language we use is not censored at all. But in a classroom, I have to respect my professor and also watch my language. I have to sound more professional when I am speaking to my professor. For an example, I cannot talk to my professor like I speak to my friends. When it comes to my friends, I have no boundaries on what I can and cannot say. The last setting that I am most aware of is work. I used to babysit a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, so I always had to watch what I said around them. There are certain things that I could not say around them, such as Santa is not real. There are certain boundaries of language in every setting. My friends and I love sending each other memes. Memes are funny pictures that tell a pointless story. There are all sorts of different memes out there. People outside the millennial age do not understand references or our sense of humor. People who do not understand memes would be considered outside of this community. Another type of community that I am a part of is sports, more specifically baseball. I grew up around baseball because my older brother played it. I know all of the different slang terms used in this sport. People outside of this community would not understand. Along with baseball, history is another community you would have specific terms for. Someone outside of my history study group could not join us and understand what we were talking about. Something that I am not as good with term-wise is football. The slangs used in football do not make sense to me because I was never around it. When meeting new people, my boundaries with language are limited because I don't know how they will react. When you try to join a community, the language that they will use will be confusing at first because you haven't adapted to it. When becoming an insider of a new group, the first thing you want to do is gain knowledge about the group. Finding out how they speak to one another and the routines they follow daily will help tremendously. Throughout my first semester of English 1301, we read many essays. The one that I found most effective was Active Reading by Donna Dunbar Odom. I found this most effective because she wrote about many tips to use when reading and writing. After being assigned this essay, my reading skills increased because I used the tips she taught me. I can honestly say I became a better reader, and it put reading into a new perspective for me. For an example, I don't forget what I have read when I get to the bottom of the page. Thank you, Ms. Lee, for being the best 1301 teacher.